Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome to Lucie's Inspiring Stories. I'm so excited you're here because tonight's guest is one of the most dynamic and inspiring voices you will ever meet. He's known, he's known as the funny singing scientist, and with good reason. Maybe we can get him to sing tonight. I don't know. We'll see. Shh. Raja Vaidya blends science for the mind, karate for the body, and music for the soul. He's a three-time TEDx speaker, a best-selling author, martial arts grandmaster, award-winning cancer researcher, and an international keynote speaker who has helped thousands face their fears and overcome self-limiting beliefs. And here's the kicker. He's done all this while living with a lifelong stutter, proving that fear does not have to stop you. It can be the doorway to your greatest growth. So let's ring in with a victory bell. My guest, Raja Vaidya. How are you,
Nice.
Raja?
I'm doing fantastic. Can everybody see me, hear me? Can everybody appreciate me? Can everybody see how handsome I am? Thank you.
I
Um,
see you and I appreciate you for sure. And
now,
thank you so much for being here.
thank you so much. I really appreciate being here.
Thank you. I'd love to start with a simple but I think very powerful question.
Hmm.
I want to know when people ask you, who is Raja Vaidya? How do you
Yeah.
answer that?
Uh, Good question. Uh, when I say, and I'm different people in different locations, and that'll sound a little weird to some because some people say, well, no, that's split personality. No, it's not. I'm a different person at work than I am with my karate tribe than I
Mhm.
am as a father. Now, in corporate life, I am the standard. I am the Mr. Positive, and I'm the sunshine in the lab. I am the grease between the gears. And what I do is I smooth operations. I help to connect teams and build more productive and more profitable teams.
Mhm.
When I go to karate, I am Mr. Determined, Mr. Determination. I don't stop trying no matter what. It doesn't matter if you win or fail. I keep trying. And that's the reason why last year my instructor promoted me up to a seventh degree grandmaster after 41 years
Well,
of martial arts training and in the Black Belt Hall of Fame. But at home, I'm Mr. Goofball. And I think that's probably my favorite role because as soon as my son was born, and this comes out full circle because my cousin just had a baby boy last night. So victory bell
congratulations.
to
How
him and
cool.
his wife. Congratulations. So it's like we're seeing the whole circle of life continue. But as soon as I held my son in my hands for the first time, I knew
Mhm.
that's what I was born for. That's every not everybody gets to be a dad, and so I
No.
appreciate it so much. And then I had my daughter 2 years later. Oh my god, she I kept calling her princess. My sisters told me don't call her princess. She's my princess. And also technically she is a princess because my name is Ra, 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 Raja. That means king. I didn't forget my name. I just get stuck there sometimes. And that means she's my daughter. That means she is a princess.
Absolutely.
um, and by the way, for everybody out there watching and wondering, do I ever get bothered by this stutter by this stutter? Yes, but I don't care because the way I see it now is that God gave me the speech handicap, but also made me this handsome. So it's a good balance, and we'll just move on from there.
You've been open about living with that lifelong stutter, and I
Hmm.
admire you and appreciate you. Can you share a moment where you decided not to let it define you and how that decision shaped your path, really?
Oh, yes, as part of the MCU, yes, I'm talking about the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They should make me a character because my superpower is ignoring embarrassment. Because here's what happened. I gave a TED talk last year,
Mhm.
and part of that story, I told them my journey through corporate pharma. Now, I've been a cancer scientist over 25 years. I've been published multiple times. I've been awarded for scientific merit, but at my previous company, I'd worked for over 10 years and winning every year, Encore Awards, I won multiple entrepreneur awards. Got nominated for a Spark Award for technical achievement. I won an Inspire Award for improving company culture because I started these speaker confidence workshops. But the reason that happened was while I was working there, management would see, well, Raja, yeah, he's a great worker and he loves to, he produces such a great work in the lab. And I did, but I was ashamed of my speech and I didn't want to talk in front of people. And so I would do the lab work, hand off the data, and then my manager would present it, which is fine because he or she would, tell the team that I did the work. Problem is that this went on. Every manager that presented my work got a promotion and I didn't. And this happened 5, 6 times over and over again. So every other year, they're saying, wow, Raja does such great work. Every person that I work with gets a promotion in a year. So I guess that's my superpower, is that I help you get promoted.
Exactly.
So the next boss who's out there looking for another great hire, you better be looking at me. But the last one, and this is where the tide turns. The last one, who I'd worked with for over 9 months on a special project, she left my name off the slide deck.
Oh, okay.
I know. And in corporate world, at best, that's very unprofessional. At worst, it's plagiarism.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I was sitting in terror watching this presentation, watching her present my data. And I just looked at my boss and I said, what can't you say something, do something? It's like, oh, we can't do anything. We're not in the middle of a presentation because that's not polite.
Right.
But like, neither is stealing my data and taking credit for it. And then I told his boss, and then I told HR. Nobody did anything. So basically, I felt used and betrayed and stabbed in the back. And I said, you know what? My parents taught me about better being a first generation Indian in America. Like, I was born in Bombay and I came to the US when I was fairly young. So sometimes you're hearing my accent, sometimes you are not. And I can have fun with that. Go to the airport and pretend I'm fresh off the boat or something. But have some good times, right? But my parents taught me that you have to forgive. So I decided to forgive but not forget.
Right.
And that is my origin story, is that is when I decided I'm going to finally face my fear of speaking on live. And so I still have troubles with my L's, M's, my W's, like SP's, ST's, different consonants. Sometimes sometimes I can't say my name. You just heard that a few minutes ago. And so it's frustrating because it's sort of like you have this amazing Apple iPod playlist, but the headphones are a little bit staticky. And that's basically me. I have all this knowledge in here I've gleaned over years and years of training. And sometimes the words just don't come out, even though I want them to.
Right.
And
oh my God. What was that inner voice saying to you? I mean, it must have been talking to you. It must have been saying, I bet you wanted to scream.
Oh, yeah. There's a phrase I say, like, there are people with invisible handicaps standing next to you, screaming in quiet frustration.
Yeah.
That was me. And if you look at the statistics, that's another great word I don't like to say too much. If you look at them, they say that over 1 billion people in the world have some sort of a handicap. So that means physical challenge, mental challenge, neurodiversity, speech, hearing, sight impairment. Some of them have temporary physical limitations. Maybe they were involved in a car accident. Maybe they had trauma. Maybe they were victimized and now they have emotional trauma. There's PTSD. So there's so many things out there that people don't realize that internally people are dealing with. And part of that journey, once I started to go to Toastmasters and face my fears and you start reading books and managing, I guess one of the earliest ones that really helped me out were, I love John Maxwell's 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. I love Jocko Willink and Leif Babin's Extreme Ownership. That's one of the things that helped me reframe and shift my mind into thinking, wait a second, when I complain about everything else, somebody else has control. When I say, you know what, everything's on me, I now own it. I now change the velocity of my life. And that is what has happened.
Well,
And so now,
that's really powerful, Raja.
yeah,
I mean, I think so many people listening can relate to facing, challenges that
mhm,
that others don't always see. I want to talk about fear because you mentioned it. You say that fear, FEAR, stands for face
something else.
everything and rise. Can you
That's
share a
right.
story of when you had to embody that? And not as a coach or speaker, but just as Raja, the
Yes,
human being.
yes. I'll tell you a story about in the past that I'm ashamed of, and then I'll tell you a current story that I'm really proud of.
Hmm.
All right. Going back to my high school years, I got into karate, so I didn't have to talk. And so uh, after 5 years of taking karate, I got a black belt. I went to the world championships
Okay.
and I took home 2 trophies. I made a 2-year plan to go to the Olympics. So then 2 years later, so this is 3 months after my 18th birthday,
Hmm.
I went to an East Coast national qualifier and I beat out 400 black belts. I took home 3 trophies and the grand championship trophy for the entire tournament. And that's when one of the recruiters for the Olympic teams were there. And we had a conversation. I wanted to go to the Olympics. My parents said, well, you can do whatever you want. You have a scholarship to college. You should probably go there.
Hmm.
And I decided because of some people on the team that were looking at me funny when I was talking, I realized something. I would have to talk on TV. People would be interviewing me on TV.
Right.
I didn't want to get embarrassed. So I turned it down. I didn't
Oh,
go.
Lord. Mm.
I lost my one opportunity to go to the Olympics.
Oh, my God.
And that is the heartbreak of people with invisible disabilities. You don't realize what they're suffering through and
Exactly.
they give up their potential.
Right.
Now, fast forward to something crazy I did. So you've heard about in football, they call someone the GOAT, right? The
Yeah.
greatest of all time. Well, I'm starting to feel like the GOAT in this, in that a couple of years ago, I decided to take my coaching platform where I was just not doing much. I was doing once a week trainings with my clients and having fun with it, and starting to do training and entrepreneurship. And I thought, wait a second, I found this group. I can now interview people on on my platform.
Right.
And so I started doing that. And somebody said, well, Raj, most people, like, there's other programs you can sign up for. It's cost $10,000. We'll get you on 100 stages in a year. And I thought, well, at the time I was in between jobs. I thought, nah, I got a lot of free time on my hands. What if I just do 100 interviews in 6 months and just see what happens? And everybody thought it was crazy. Everybody thought I was full of it, because here's this guy that can't talk right, and he's going to interview this with no experience, no podcasting experience, no live stream, no video training. I said, whatever. I got Toastmasters. That's good enough, right?
Yeah,
So
it's a
I,
lot, though.
it's
Yeah.
it's a lot,
Yeah.
and I made a goal to try to do 106 months, and sadly, that didn't happen. Instead, I got 204 in 5 months. I just completely hit a grand slam. Everybody's jaw was on the floor, and that's where I say that that's where that idea came up, is that fear is not false evidence appearing real. Yes, it is. I've heard that meme too. But for me, I reinvented the word to say face everything and
And
rise.
rise.
Because it's not about ignoring the fear, it's
Right.
about facing it. It's about understanding it. So even Mark Twain said that fear is not the absence, or no, courage is not the absence of fear. It's having fear and doing it anyway. That's courage.
Right.
And so that's what I had to do. Is that I had to do the worst thing I wanted to do. I had to eat the goat, and or what's that phrase, like eat the frog, right? So, and do the hardest thing possible. Well, I built up a show, and now 3 years later, it's over 400 episodes,
Wow. It's unbelievable. But,
and we're gonna hit
I'm not
500 this year.
I'm not surprised because, I mean, when people with disabilities just excel in other ways, it's just that,
They
I
certainly
mean,
do.
you taught martial arts forever. It seems like for 40 years or something like that,
Oh, I
right?
love it.
And
Mhm.
I read that you discovered a pattern, and from a white belt mindset to black belt mind shift.
Yes.
Can you walk us through that pattern? And
Certainly.
really how it applies in business and in life.
Absolutely. So here's a one of my black belt confidence workshop that I teach at corporate companies. I call it the
Hmm.
5 steps to black belt confidence, and I base this off of the martial arts. A lot of my teachings and trainings are based off of real world martial arts training, because that's something that you can't fake, you can't make up, you can't meme, right?
Right.
I have taught everybody from age 3 children to juniors and children, then tweens and teens and adults and seniors. And over the past over 4 decades, there is a pattern in how people face their fears, face their challenges, and they either rise and they deal with that pressure. So in psychology, there's something called negative pressure loops and positive pressure loops.
Hmm.
So in negative pressure, you take a lump of coal, you crush it, and it turns to dust.
Okay.
But in positive pressure loops, you take that lump of coal, squeeze it real tight, and it turns into a diamond.
Uh,
And what I train people to do, and I learned this through karate and seeing how people do this, you take that lump of coal, apply the right amount of pressure over time, consistently, and that's how you become a black belt. Now, I'm really high, I'm really giving you the high level version of this, but
right.
what I go through in, say, in 5 steps, I'll give you 2 of the steps. Number one is a white belt. You took the first step. You have to be open to yourself and vulnerable in order for you to grow, because
Right.
there's that feeling of uncomfortableness and
Right.
fear. And believe me, I felt that too. And you still see me today. I'm still not a perfect. I'm still not a perfect speaker, and yet it doesn't bother me anymore. And that was the difference. It's that shame and the embarrassment of what I thought was my weakness. And instead, now I realize, you know what? Who gives a damn? You know,
Right.
I am who I am. Other people are, blessed with other things, and I'm
Hmm.
blessed with this. And
Yeah.
when you shift it into a blessing rather than a curse, all of a sudden everything changes. Because if it wasn't for my karate, maybe I wouldn't have become a classically trained opera singer, or if it wasn't for my speech challenges, I wouldn't have taken singing. Maybe I wouldn't have taken karate. Maybe I
Right.
wouldn't have taken Toastmasters. Maybe I wouldn't have done all these other things that I was so insecure up until maybe 3 years ago. I kept
Wow.
trying to prove myself to everybody, every time, everywhere. And it led to a very challenging life, because you feel like you're always on the defense. You're always trying to prove something.
Yeah.
And I realize now I don't need to do anything. I'm great at how I am.
Well, I love how you translate these lessons from,
Yeah.
into daily life. But, in today's world, everybody wants results. And in martial arts, I know that the progress is slow,
Mm-hmm.
and really discipline is everything as I see it. So how do you help people stay committed to the long game, in a society that's really addicted to fast results?
Certainly. First thing is tough love.
Tough
That's
love.
something that they're not used to. I'm seeing a lot of people in nowadays, and everybody gets a participation trophy.
Hmm.
Now, I'm going to start to date myself here and say, yeah, I remember when I was a kid, we didn't get no participation trophies. That's true. And
Right.
guess what? That meant when you failed, you understood you needed to improve.
Hmm.
You don't just get something for nothing. So that's something I always tell my clients and tell my children even, and say, listen, you get what you earn, all right? And you got to put in the time. Now, as part of my NLP training, that's called neurolinguistic programming,
Hmm.
I teach in a way that say that we start with the words, right? Because your words become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your beliefs. Your beliefs
Come your behavior.
translate into your actions, and your actions become your results.
Hmm.
And if anybody has ever stumbled or stopped, it's not because they're not capable. It's not about that. Like when somebody says, well, how do you gauge your health from a scale of 1 to 10? How do you gauge your finances from a 1 to 10? How about your relationships 1 to 10?
Hmm.
And they come in, and I do this quick quiz with my new clients. They tell me, oh, well, this is a 6, and that's a 7, and that's a 3, and this is a 1. Okay, that's great. Now here's what we're going to do. When you feel like you got a 5 in something, how does it make you feel? Oh, it feels like I'm failing.
Yeah.
Okay. What if we change all of that now into a 1? And now you're not failing, you're just working.
Exactly.
And
I'm
all of a sudden,
progressing.
oh, and all of a sudden you see the weight of the world
Yeah.
just start rolling off the shoulders, and
Right.
you start seeing that like, oh, I just got chills just even saying that. And so now when people say, oh, I'm not failing, there's a phrase I say on the front cover of my book. It's you are amazing and you're getting even better. I don't tell people that they're broken. You're not broken, right? Someone who is gifted, like me, with a speech problem. Hey, you're gifted with that. That means you are blessed in so many other areas,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what your challenge is. You have a lot more blessings than you realize. So rather than focusing on the 10 things you can't do out of 10,000, focus on the 9,990 that you can do.
We are so weird. I mean, we just really always just go to the negative, and we just kind of, I mean, we have to just pull ourselves back all the time, to
Yep.
look at the positive. So, I want to lighten things up a little. What's your
Please do.
favorite song?
Oh my God. You know what? More recently, I got to say, in the past 2 years, so I I'm the lead singer for my community choir. So every spring, my choir director asks me what I want to sing.
Oh.
So last year, I sang "This Is the Moment" from the from the Broadway musical Jekyll and Hyde,
Right.
and it starts like this: "This is the moment, this is the day when I send all my doubts and demons on their way. Every endeavor I have made ever is coming into frame, is here and now today."
I got goosebumps. Oh my God.
Think
I
about
wanted you to
right
sing.
now.
How cool
This
is
is
that?
your moment. You're hearing me. And then this year, she asked me again, what do you want to sing as what's a great anthem song? I said, you know what? I just heard, last year, I just watched the Greatest Showman, starring Hugh Jackman and Zoe, what was it? Zendaya and Zac Efron. And oh my God, such a great cast. And in that musical, or in the movie, which is now my new favorite musical, it's the story of P.T. Barnum, who you never thought about as being, I don't know, it's a circus. It sounds silly.
Yeah.
But what he had to go through to get to that point is an incredible, inspiring journey. And I really think everybody should watch it. Because in that, what he does is he finds all the people that wouldn't, that society is shunned, because he grew up as a poor boy. He grew up as a poor tailor's son. No money, no family. His father died, so he's all alone. And when he's starving and broke, and he's having to steal food on the street, someone who looked weird and different, that was shunned by society, gave him some food. And that's when he realized, oh, that's a person. It's not a freak. It's not a mutant. It's not a castaway from society. There's a person inside that. And that story is what drew into the rest of his life and started to emanate into something new. He created a show that didn't cast smears on all the different people of society, but rather uplifted them on an equal stage and equal footing, sort of like a celebration of humanity. And in that, amongst that, there was one woman, and I'm going to, quick spoiler here, spoiler alert about the movie. She was the bearded lady. And so this is actually a medical condition.
Yeah.
And I remember watching that thinking, oh my God, my stutter has been my beard my whole life. It's the thing I was ashamed of, and I thought everybody could see, and they just looked at me once and they just dismissed me. I mean, sometimes I'd lose friends. Sometimes I couldn't talk to a girl when I was 13 years old. There's there's a lot of heartbreak behind that. And when she sang that amazing song, "This Is Me," that's when I realized, oh my God, that's the moment, where she comes out and she just starts out so small and simple, and then she goes into this boisterous run, and you hear this chorus in the background, oh, And she talks about her story about being ashamed. She's no longer ashamed anymore. You know, I am brave. I am free. This is me.
Oh, wow.
And what an amazing. Oh, I'm getting chills already.
I know, I know. I have goosebumps listening to you, and I'm so happy I got you to sing.
It doesn't take too much arm twisting. It's fun. I mean, honestly, it's like it's the
Roger,
only time in my life I'm totally free. So
that's
anytime I
so
can
cool.
sing, I'm there.
You're such a fun guy. What's a fun fact about you that most people don't know?
Oh God. I'm not sure if people know this or not, but I'm a huge. Well, first of all, I am a huge sci-fi fan, so I love Star Trek, Star Wars,
Okay.
everything sci-fi related. But when I was in um, fifth grade, I
Mhm,
read The Hobbit for a for a for a book for a book report, and
mhm.
then after that, I thought, wow, this is an amazing story. I wish there was more. And my English teacher was so happy. She said, "Oh yeah, you want to read more? There's actually a trilogy after this book." I'm like, "Oh, really?" And she said, "Well, yeah, and actually, I have a couple copies of the book here. So if you want to borrow mine, I'll let you." So
Wow.
that teacher let me read The Lord of the Rings from her collection.
Oof.
And oh my God, I was so thankful and appreciated because that started me on a journey of that hero's adventure.
Right.
That's sort of that undecided hero. Like right now, when people see me and hear me, a lot of people are telling me, "Oh, Roger, you're so inspiring. You're such a hero. You do this." I'm like, I'm just trying to survive. I don't know what y'all talking about, but if my journey helps people, great. I'm not
Mhm.
trying to be anything. I'm just trying to get through life. And I feel the same way with Frodo. Is that Frodo was just trying to get through life, and he got flung into this amazing journey that was
Right.
world changing. And now I feel like with my speaking journey, especially the past 3 years, I feel like I'm on that same path. Is like now I'm doing something that I finally see the impact of what I'm doing. Like, you know, my YouTube channel I just launched last year went from no subscribers to now it's over 8,800,
Oh,
and
wow.
we're gonna hit 10,000 pretty soon. And I can't believe how fast everything grew. And you know, my social media handles are popping over 20K now, and people are now starting to follow me on LinkedIn and more. It's just incredible, and I never expected this 3 years ago. I never expected
Wow.
any of this stuff. Like if you told me 3 years ago, oh Roger, you're going to be a three-time best-selling author, a keynote speaker, you're going to be an international speaker, you're going to be in the Black Belt Hall of Fame, you're going to be in movies. Oh, by the way, I've been in 2 martial arts films too. So
I'm
and
not
and
surprised.
and in a
I
comic
mean,
book series.
yeah,
If you told me that, I'd say no way.
I just wanted to pause for a minute and tell my audience,
Yeah.
over here we have some call to action buttons. And Raja just mentioned his LinkedIn. If you hit that middle button, it will take you to another place, not and you can join him and meet with him at LinkedIn. And the bottom button, of course, is his Victory Mindset Academy. There are two ways that you can connect with him while we're having this interview. And I say this because most people, actually, two people came and tried to get in, and I didn't want to interrupt us.
Oh,
But most people will see the replay anyway. And these, I just want to let everybody know that these call to action buttons, we call them CTA buttons,
yeah.
are live in the replay. So please, please join, connect with Raja with either one of those buttons. And yeah, and and we'll be fine with that. And we'll talk about other ways also. But I want to talk about you as an author because
Certainly.
I know that you've written several books.
Hmm.
Um, I'm intrigued by the book called Unbox Me Today. Is that your latest?
It is, and actually, that's coming out this year.
You haven't
So
launched it yet, have you?
I
Yeah,
haven't launched it yet. Yeah, I keep revising it and I keep
yeah,
trying to perfect it and improve it. And now that out of AI, I can tweak a couple things faster, much faster than I used to.
right,
My first three books, they were collaboration books. I was able to submit a chapter and get the
right.
core essence of who I am and what I do out there. And the great thing about those, like those all, the first two became Amazon bestsellers. The third one became an international bestseller and was on the best-selling list on Barnes and Noble
Wow,
in a brick and mortar store, and we got it on the shelves of both Target and Walmart.
wow.
So I started to bring some street cred out now. So now when I launch my book now, which has been in the works for about 6, 7 years now, um, I just want to share so much. And actually, the hardest thing is to hold back and say, all right, don't give everything away because it's just too much for people to absorb. It's like trying to drink from a fire hose. So
Yeah.
the hardest thing has been to explain to people that, well, I've gleaned 5 pillars through my personal development journey, and they are health, wealth, mindset, which is really
Hmm.
mind shift,
Right.
right? Faith, which is really value systems,
Hmm.
and then communications, and which I say family, business, relationships, that's all communications. And so if you're able to balance those 5 pillars in your life, and this is just one coach's way of explaining the world, it will definitely work for me. And I've definitely seen people from my clients improve from it. I've had people who face down their fears. I've stopped three suicides that I know of within my clientele. I've also helped one woman who was really faced a lot of trauma in her childhood, reframe her mindset with NLP training, and now she's free of that trauma. I've had another client who has basically left her old job, her old apartment, her old boyfriend, and changed her life, and now she makes twice her salary
Wow.
because she changed what's in here first. It all starts with your mind shift. That's why actually I'll be changing Mindset Academy to Mind Shift Academy soon, because I think mindset to me sounds like cement as I understand the word.
Yeah, because you said cement. Yes, you're right.
Yeah. It feels
It's
like
mind
mindset
it
and
really
cement.
is a mind shift. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. It's truly the mind shift, because when you go in, say, for example, you work a 9 to 5, you go into work, and the first thing you have to do is you have to check, you know, the 50 emails that you didn't follow up with the night before.
You know.
And now you're getting triggered. You don't know how to handle it. You get that adrenaline rush. Cortisol is spiking, serotonin is dropping, right? Now you're in a triggered state, right? You have to learn how to mind shift out of that into something that you control. And so that's what I train people to do, is that you are always in control of that. And guess what? I think I saved my own life about 10 years ago when I was in a head-on car crash.
Wow.
And I was in my beloved Infinity. I love that car. It was an i30, had 220,000 miles on it. I drive my cars until they die, and I just keep on going. And
They are
so
nice cars. They were.
there, yeah, it was a nice car. And
Yeah.
but I always take care of
Mm.
my house, my things, And so I it was an icy day. I was going up a hill trying to screech, and then it swerved around. The tires lost traction and slid it into the other lane. There's another car coming in the opposite lane. I was going maybe 30. He was going maybe 40. Boom, head on, and my head smashed the windshield. And you can't see it as much now. I had scar tissue here. I had glass in my head for about 6 months, and I couldn't turn my head to the left for about 2.5 years.
Wow.
And this eye was tracking slower than this one for 1 year, giving
Wow.
me headaches. I must have had a concussion that went undiagnosed also.
Right.
But when I'm sitting in the car, and I don't want to be too graphic, but I feel the heat of the blood coming down my face. Um, I realize right then and there, and this comes back to my karate training, you must control your breathing.
Mm.
So I knew from opera too how to breathe. It's not about breathing through your chest. It's about breathing with your abdomen, with
Right.
with your diaphragm.
Hmm.
So I purposely, strategically slowed down my breathing, and I went back to my Karate Kid days, thinking about like Mr. Miyagi.
Hmm.
In through the nose, out through the mouth. Control your breathing. Balance is a good fight, Daniel-san. And
Yeah.
and I kept myself from passing out because I could feel like the world was about to go black. I felt it. And so I purposely did that breathing, and it kept me present and in the moment. And I
Kept
didn't
you
let,
alive, probably. Yeah.
I think so. So that's why it's so important that we must learn how to mind shift at the
Yeah.
right time. And if I can do it,
Absolutely.
so can you.
Wow. That is unbelievable. You've, you know, I really do believe that you dedicate your whole life to helping people grow, And not just on stage, but through your academy too, don't you? I mean,
Mhm.
Victory Mind Academy. You've helped entrepreneurs, executives, even Fortune 500 teams. I think. What's the most common self-limiting belief you see, and how do you help people break through that?
Okay, that's a great question. So once I started my transformation journey, as part of
Mhm.
my capstone, I had to do a project in order to complete my first international coaching certification through Toastmasters.
Mhm.
Took me 4 years,
Wow.
and then I launched this speaker confidence workshop with the former president of the group I was at. So I was the new president. She was the former president. So I I made up the whole slide deck, and then we kind of fine tuned some things, and then I presented it as a 2 hour workshop. And the biggest thing I saw from a lot of people
Mhm.
is what we now coin imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
It's really just simply, I don't think I'm worth the title that I received. And
It's
so over
amazing.
time,
Yeah.
people have gotten promoted. They become senior scientist, then a principal, and then an associate director, and then a
Right.
senior director. And then all of a sudden, they're forced to do more personal development training. And by the way, all business development starts with 90% personal development.
Yeah.
Really is. Because if I can understand myself and my own internal self-talk, and I know how people respond to that, I know the 4 different personality types and how to talk to them. I know what people's 5 love languages are. I know what people, when they hear, what they actually understand and what they listen. And did you know that the average person speaks at about 125 to 150 words
And
per minute, but they can understand up to 450 words per minute. So
wow.
that means when you're talking, sometimes you're talking too slow. People are dozing off and going somewhere else because you're not keeping up with their thought patterns, or vice versa. If you go to New York and you see all these fast talkers, then you go down south and they prefer a little bit more relaxed
Yeah.
pace, and nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
You have to understand your audience.
You do.
So if I go down to North Carolina and I go to Charlotte and I want to give a conference there, like uh, 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 right in the Bible Belt, I'm going to talking more about like in Galatians how what a man sows, he's going to reap. I'm going to talk a little bit more gently about my language. I'm going to be more careful, and I'm going to slow down my tone and speak more directly to each person. Spend a little more time on eye contact and this. Versus when I'm like a motivational speaker in New York, I'm speaking at the Pfizer, at the Spiral Tower, at the World Centers. I'm on here, and I'm here, and I'm here, and I'm here, and you sound like that motivational speaker that people are just joking about and making memes about, and this is the guy, and yeah, sure, but that that feeling inadequate, of feeling like you're not good enough,
Mhm.
that's the thing I see over and over and
Over,
over
yeah.
again. And truly,
I felt it myself. I mean,
yeah,
you know.
and I did too.
Yeah.
Up until 3 years ago, I didn't have a voice until 3 years ago. Meaning, I didn't believe my voice mattered until 3 years ago. Until I launched my show, until I really took ownership of my speech impediment is not the problem. My shame of my speech impediment was
Right.
the
Was
problem.
was your limiting belief. Yeah. Yeah.
Exactly. And I've now crushed that. And I want everybody else to be able to do that. Whatever your challenge is, you have invisible superpowers that you don't realize yet. Think about Clark Kent as a boy being scared of, oh no, I have heat vision. Uh-oh, I crushed a 2x4 with one hand. Uh-oh, I can jump over the barn. And he's getting scared because he had hidden superpowers he didn't realize.
Mhm.
And all of you have the same thing. You don't realize you could be the next manager at your company. You could be the next leader
Right.
that they are craving and help the team belong.
Well, I want to ask you a wild question.
Sure.
This is a question you would ask people.
Sure.
If you were handed a blank check, what's your grand vision? What's your grand vision to change the world?
I love that question because that's
I
the
know you
question
would.
I ask
I
on
know
my
that's the question you would ask.
show. So here's what I would do. Number one, I would educate the world
Well,
about
that's a big,
Mindshift,
yeah.
because too often, a lot of our conflict all around the world
Yeah.
happens because we don't understand the other person, or we've never thought about things in that way, or
Right.
we just don't have the information. Now, we are now in the age of the internet. We're now in quantum speeds above what we used to have only 30 years ago, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, even 5 years ago. We went from phones with, the little candy phones. Remember the brick phones they had back in
I
the
do
80s?
remember
And
that.
now
I remember
went
the
to
big
candy
ones
bar
too.
phones, and now flip phones, and now everything is a smartphone.
Yeah.
And I look at this beast that I have. It's like 7 inches diagonal, and it's heavy, and it can do everything. It's incredible. And so, we're in this age where every piece of information is accessible in our hand,
Hmm.
but we're not using it. We don't have a strategy to use that and to make our lives better. And also,
Hmm.
as part of that strategy, to be able to freely give impact to someone else.
Right.
I truly believe that my show exploded so fast because I didn't know what I was doing. I'll be honest. The first 50 interviews I did, I didn't know what I was doing. I was just talking to people and not exactly organizing things well. And over time, I realized, there's a structure to my show. Now there's a strategy. Now there's a sponsor segment. Now there's a Mindshift segment. And so now I have sponsors and affiliate links, and I give impact. Every single guest on my show, as you knew, because you were a guest on my show, just a few weeks ago.
Yeah. Just a few
You
months
were
ago.
able to give a free link to your program. And I do that freely because that's how I'm trying to create impact in the world. And I think that's why everybody saw, like, here's a guy who's not chasing the money. He's chasing the dream, chasing the impact.
Hmm.
And people love passionate people that are doing that. And that's all I'm about. So my last thing I'll do with that, because of education, I want every single person to be productive, to with any kind of an invisible superpower, to be protected by the Americans with Disabilities Act.
Okay.
Because I know people's rights are being trampled and violated. We have to stop that. We have to make sure people's rights are protected. And I
Right.
think with more education, we can do that, and we can change the world together with one
Absolutely.
mind shift at a time.
Yeah. Is that the message that you want people to remember you by?
Simply this. Don't fake it till you make it. Instead, believe it and
Mm.
become it.
Oh, I love that about you, Raja.
Yeah.
This has been such a rich and inspiring conversation. And you've shared science, music with us, martial arts, and most importantly, the mindset or mind shift,
Mm-hmm.
mind shift of resilience. When I think of resilience, I think of you. You talked about co-authoring. That you were co-author before you became an author, and I'm working with a book series that is the theme is resilience, and I'd love to
Mm-hmm.
speak to you about it. And anybody who wants to
Certainly.
be a co-author, because I do believe co-authoring is a good way to go. If anybody wants to be an author, why not?
Certainly.
Because somebody
Get
else
your
has to do the
expertise
hard
out.
work. Somebody has to do the hard work, and it kind of gives you that fun place where all you have to do is get your message across, which is really nice.
Yeah.
And so before we wrap up, let me ask you this. For someone listening right now who feels stuck, who
Yeah.
feels silenced, who's afraid to use their voice, like you were, what's maybe one step that they can take today to begin their own mind shift?
There was a colonel in the army that started out saying that part of his success every single day started with making his bed.
Mm,
And I got to say, a lot of us don't have a strategy to start the day off on a win.
right.
So now I have a specific morning routine, and I have a specific evening routine. The evening routine can vary sometimes, but the
Mm-hmm.
morning routine doesn't. And the reason is how you set up your night for 5 minutes by choosing what book you're going to read, or if you're at school, did you put your Chromebook on the charger? Did you charge your phone? Did you put your books and your homework in your book bag, or your
Right.
notepad, or whatever they want to call it nowadays? That sets up your mornings to save you time, right? Because what takes you 5 minutes in the evening usually takes 10 or 15 minutes in the morning, and you're in a rush. So you tend to forget things. So that idea of making a plan in the morning and sticking to it. Number one is I either do sit-ups or push-ups every day. Oh, and there was one thing I wanted to show you. This is a good time for that. I just got this in the mail today, of all things. So I made a commitment to myself as a cancer scientist always to raise money for cancer research. I just did a 30-day swim challenge with American Cancer Society, and I completed my 5-mile swim. So there we go. There's my challenge 2025.
Congratulations. You're amazing.
I just got this medal in the mail and raised a few $100s on top of that. Last time I checked, so it might be close to 1,000 by now. So every year I try to raise at least, a few $1,000s for different charities. And my goal for that is twofold. Number one, I can, right? So why not? The good people out there should be doing good. And second thing is there's a feeling of pride you get when you help someone else without expecting anything in return.
Anything in return, right?
And you want that. If you start your day out with a morning routine, it gives you a sense of pride in what you did for yourself. But when you help someone else and not expecting anything in return, that is a piece of pride that you take with you every day, and everybody around you can feel it.
Yeah. I totally believe that, because that's just down my alley for sure. So friends, if you want to learn more, I want you to download, Raja, connect with him with his incredible programs. Hit the CTA button for his Victory Mindset Academy. Connect with him on LinkedIn, please. And Raja, I want to thank you for reminding us all to face everything and to rise. Face everything and rise. That comes from FEAR, folks. Face everything and rise.
My pleasure.
And to our audience, until next time, believe it and become it.
All right. Ring that victory bell.
Thank you. Thank you, Raja.